Good morning. We are going to be talking about angle pair relationships and a little warning here. I'm just telling you guys straight up. There are a lot of stinking slides for this lesson, so you got to watch carefully. And we're probably not going to get through it in 15 minutes, which I have for video length. But we'll do our best. If you need to watch it over and over and over and over and over because you like to watch it so much, you can watch it, and maybe even another time on top of that, just because. All right. So we are going to be really focusing today using angle measurements that exist with parallel lines. So that's very important we understand. Today we're working with parallel lines and transversals. And remember, transversals are those lines that slice through two or more other lines. And so hopefully you remember transversals. All right, what are the types of different angles we learned about yesterday? Well, we learned about those alternate interior, alternate exterior, same side, interior, all that kind of stuff. So we kind of learned that 4 and 6, they're alternating on that transversal, and those are going to be on the inside, so alternate interior. 1 and 7 are alternating and they're exterior. And then we had like 3 and 6, they're on the same side, so they're called same side, interior. And then we also learned that if they're on the same side, located on the in the same kind of place, they're called corresponding. And so 6 and 2 would be corresponding in that case. Now, I want you to pay attention. So far what we learned here today, we learned yesterday, we learned about these, just any two lines with a transversal. Today we're really focusing in on parallel lines with a transversal. So I want you to see here on that slide. Notice how we have parallel lines. We know they're parallel because of this arrow here. If it wasn't for this arrow here, you see that orange arrow? That tells us that these two lines are parallel and they're never getting together. Alright? Now, imagine this. If I have one line here and let's duplicate this thing here. Okay. And then I have another line. And I cut it. That's called a transversal. Alright. Let's say this angle is a 55. Alright. Okay. Now I know these two things are parallel here, correct? So I just want you to kind of understand this. Parallel lines can be right on top of each other. So this angle is 55. Well, guess what if I move this down? It's the same line. Guess what this angle is going to be down here? It's going to be 55 again. And that is because it's the same angle. If these are parallel, it's really the same line, that same line transversal's cutting through. We know it's going to be 55. So kind of keep that in mind. When you have parallel lines, when you cut a transversal, you're going to have things that match up with each other. So corresponding angles, you know, there's these rules here, and to tell you the truth, guys, I don't like to memorize them. I'll show you the sheety slick way, and you know, this is how I've done it all my life, and I didn't turn out to be that bad. Honey, am I that bad of a guy? Yeah, she kind of likes me. Alright, anyways, so I didn't memorize these things like this. I memorized them basically. Alright, you got parallel lines. Okay. Alright. If you look at the obtuse angle here, that's going to match up with any obtuse section. Now remember, obtuse means it's larger than a 90-degree angle. So obtuse means you're fat. Okay, acute means it's really small. So notice how this right here is obtuse. Well, guess what? That is going to be this exact same as that obtuse angle. But you know what's even better, guys? Is that wouldn't you call this an obtuse angle too? Well, that's going to be the same measurement as well. That's the same. This obtuse angle is the same as this angle here. So all your obtuse angles on this thing are going to match up. So this angle, this angle, this angle, and guess what? This is another obtuse. They're all the same. They're all going to match up. All right? Now here's the other thing. Now this is an acute. Guess what? All acute angles match up. They match up. So if this is an acute, it's going to match up with, guess what? Hey, this is acute. That's going to be the same angle. And this is an acute, same angle. Same angle. All right. Now the key thing here is that this adds up to 180 degrees. Right? A straight line is 180 degrees. So you need to know that this obtuse angle, the obtuse, plus the acute angle will equal 180. All right, you guys got that? Your obtuse angle plus your acute angle will equal 180 degrees. We actually call that supplementary. You remember that as a term? Math strats people, they should know that. Supplementary, add up to 180. So, you got all these alternate interior stuff. This is obtuse. Guess what? That's going to match up with this obtuse angle. Oh, wow. Amazing. Okay, this is obtuse. That's going to match up with this obtuse, right? This is going to be the same angle too, and this is going to be the same angle. They're all obtuse things. You can memorize these things if you want, alternate exterior angles and so far. Now here's the real kicker. This obtuse, is that the same as this? What? No. Because watch, this is an obtuse angle. This is an acute. Right? So they're not going to equal each other. But I do know one thing. I know, remember what I said? My obtuse plus my acute angles will equal 180 degrees. Isn't that nice? That's lovely. Lovely. I'm already halfway done with my lesson and I haven't even gotten any math yet. Holy shnikes, let's move. Okay, obtuse plus my acute equals 180. So they're not going to be the same. And looking at those things, I could tell you, I could eyeball this. I think any person in their right mind could say, those babies are not the same. But you got to understand, they're supplementary. Okay, so both of them put together will equal 180. All right, let's see if we can get some math here. Find all the missing angles. All right, this is an acute angle, right? So I'm going to look for all my acute angles, and I realize all my acute ones, they're acute, and they're 55 degrees. So guess what number 3 is? 55 degrees. That's an acute one. Let's find another acute one. 6. That's acute. Guess what that is? That's 55 degrees. All my acute ones are 55. 7. It's another acute one, right? All right. I think I labeled all my acute ones. Now I got my stinking obtuse ones. Now remember, my obtuse plus my acute. Now I know what my acute is. My acute is 55, right? My acute is 55. My acute, my obtuse, so 1 plus this 55 should equal 180. Correct? Sorry. 6 minutes left. Where does the time go? All right. So, I'm going to label. Can I figure my obtuse out? Well, I'm going to minus 55. Minus 55. That means that my obtuse angles here have to be 125, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. It is pretty late at night. It's like almost 10. So I think number 1, this has to be 125 degrees. Number 1 has to be 125 degrees. That also means that number 4 is another obtuse angle. Guess what? That's 100 125 degrees. Guess what 8 is? That's obtuse. That's 125 degrees. You guys get the drift? Okay, moving on. All right, now here's where it gets a little trippy. Don't worry, we can do it. Okay? Maybe not. Well, yes, okay. Now, remember, my obtuse, this is obtuse, would you agree? Plus my acute. Plus my acute will equal 180. Can we do this in our head? What must this acute angle be? If it's 115, what does this have to be to get it to 180? I'm thinking here 65 degrees. You with me? Yeah! You got it. You got it. That's got to be 65 degrees. Now understand this. Every acute angle is 65 degrees. Now this is an acute angle. So can't I say x plus 5? Couldn't I say x plus 5? Isn't that 65 degrees? No, pay attention to this. To avoid my sloppy writing. This is an acute angle. All acute angles are going to be the same when you have parallel lines. 65 is the same thing as x plus 5. It's kind of like that substitution thing. Can I solve for x now? Because it says up here, find the value of x. It doesn't say find the value of the acute angle. It says find the value of x. So I'm going to minus 5 here. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, x is 60. And let me tell you what, if your x is 60, well, let's just say you like little older people. Alright, there's your answer. Alright, I think we're going to get through maybe one more. Alright, this is an obtuse angle, right? I'm going to look here and say, that's an obtuse angle too. So guess what? I know that 135 is the same thing, because every obtuse angle is the same. 135 is x minus 30. Oh, baby. I got 2 minutes. I can do this. So I'm going to add 30 to both sides. Add 30 to both sides. Remember, I'm finding x. I'm not finding the acute or obtuse angle. I'm finding what x is. And x is, in this case, 165. Now this doesn't tell me any angle. It doesn't tell me the acute, because you should know acute angles are smaller than 90. This just tells me what's the value of x here. What would it be if I put 165 into here? Well, 165 minus 30 is going to give me 135, which I know it has to be because it's obtuse. Can we get one more in? Let's see if we can get one more in. I'd really like to get one more in. Let's do this. Alright. This is obtuse. This is acute. Okay, so you could either figure out this acute angle here, or sorry, we could either figure out this obtuse angle here and match it up with the obtuse one, or we could say, remember, obtuse plus acute equals 180. Alright? So there's a couple different ways to skin this cat. I got about 30 seconds to just set this up. So I'm actually going to take my obtuse, which is 4x minus 8. Okay? And I know that that's my obtuse. If I add my acute, which is 64, that should equal 180, right? I just written an equation. Okay? What am I going to do here? I'm probably going to combine like terms, negative 8 and 64. I believe that's going to give me 4x. And that's going to give me a positive 56. And I'm going to run from here on out. I am just about out of time. 3, 2, 1, solve for x.